Hello, I am Reverend Dr. Namches. In this video, we shall create a general information form with sections, with different sections. And so I will quickly open my browser and then I'll go to the Google Apps. As you can see at the right, I click on Google Apps. I scroll down to Google Form and I click. And so I have options for blank form, assessment, contact information, RSVP, and party invite. I'll click blank form because I want to start from scratch. And so I will title my form general info. You can see on the left hand side, I'll click and I'll change the name of the form to general info. And then as you can see from this place, I will still delete this and change it to the first section is personal information. Personal information. So this is the first section of our form. So as you can see, the title of the whole form is general info, but then the title of the first section is personal information. On the right hand side, you have the menu. This is for add question, import questions, add title and description, add image, add video, and add section. For the sake of this video, we'll make use of the add section, which is the last, and add question, which is the first in the menu. And so, personal information, the description, tell us about yourself, tell us about you. Okay, and so I will quickly open this screenshot. You can see personal information has so many options under it. You have the name, the age, the gender, the complexion, also the height, the weight. All these are personal information, but we decide to choose to go for name, age, gender, and complexion. Okay, so I minimize this. And so I start with name, the first question. Tell us your name. Name. So name should be a short answer. You should simply type it. Remember, we have so many options. We can make it a short answer, a paragraph, a multiple choice, check boxes, or drop down. These are the 5 major input fields. So this is, you can see the computer automatically suggests short answer for us because you type your name by yourself. And so this is duplicate question if I want to do that. This is delete question if I want to delete it. And this is required if this question has to be compulsory, I have to put required. So I'll click on required. You must give me your name. And now you can see that the option, the menu tool is exactly on the right hand side. So I will click add question. So the next question will be gender, Gender. And then what option do we go for? Do we go for multiple choice? Short answer no, paragraph no, checkbox no, drop down no. We go for multiple choice because multiple choice allows you to make only one selection at a time. You can't be a male and a female and prefer not to say at the same time. So you must be one at a time. So we choose multiple choice. Of course, the computer already selected it for us. And so we have male as the first option. And then the computer automatically knows we were going to type female and then prefer not to say. Okay. So I also have option 4, which I don't want. So I will go by the right and cancel it or remove it. Okay. I will also delete this and then I will add non-binary before prefer not to say and then prefer not to say. And then add other. Okay, let me redo it. You can see what I did. Instead of clicking add option this time around, I click add other. And so um, gender is compulsory. Of course, if you don't want to tell us your gender, you can check prefer not to say. But you must check something. And now, as you can see that my options, my menu is at the right hand side of the last question that I created. You must have to do that. If you allow your menu to be at this, close to name, it means that if you click add question, it will just come under name, in between name and gender. So I would make sure that my menu is right beside the last question I created, and then I create add question. And then the next question is age. And once I click here, the system automatically suggests short answer, and then it is also required. And then finally, for personal information, I'll click add question. That's for complexion. So tell us your complexion, and then complexion, we would want it to be a multiple choice where you have option to select only one. Checkboxes are used to select more than one. But since you can't have two complexion at a time, you have to select only one. So we go for multiple choice. And so the first option, we have fair. The second option, we have light brown. WN. The third option, we have dark brown. And then finally, we have, okay, second to the last, we have black. And then I scroll down. You can see my menu right by the side of my current question. And then I'll click add order. Add order will help the person to manually type. If the option is not listed, he or she will manually type it. And then it is a compulsory question, so I will check required. And so we are currently done with personal information. Personal information contains name, age, gender, and complexion. So we're going to move on to the next section, which is the contact information that has phone, email, Facebook, and address. Remember, contact information is the second section. Therefore, it should be the section 2 of 2. So I'll minimize it. And then you can see, make sure that your menu is right by the side of the very last question. So this is my very last question, complexion. And now this is add section. So once I click, a new section will be added right below complexion question. So I will click add section. So this is, you can see after section 1, continue to next section. And then you can see section 2 of 2. And then the title of that section is contact information. So I'll simply type contact information. So we describe it by writing, how can we reach you? How can we reach you? All right. So as you can see my menu right under the last action we did. So now this is section 2 of 2, which is contact information. How can we reach you? So I'll add a question, 4 questions to it. So the first question is, I click. The first question is phone, Phone. Phone number. Tell us your phone number. So it should be a short answer, since you simply type your phone number. I just want to make sure that all my questions are required. Okay, required, are compulsory. And then type your phone number should also, I click required. It should also be compulsory. And then add question. The next question is for email. Tell us your email. Email required. It will also be a short answer. You simply type your email. And then next question, Facebook. Facebook should also be a short answer. You simply type your Facebook and it should be compulsory. My menu is right by the side of the last question, which is Facebook. So you ensure that. And then the final part of the contact information is address. ADDRESS. And once you can see, the computer automatically selects paragraph. The computer knows that an address should go with a paragraph. And then I make it compulsory. Okay, now we are done with contact information. So we go for academic details. Academic details is the next section that has 3 questions. So I minimize. Academic details, we have qualifications, ICT skills, and professional body. And now it's time to add a new section, section 3 of 3. So I click add section. So academic details, section 3 of 3. Okay. Academic details. Okay. We can add a description if we want. We can. So after adding section, it's time to add the first question for the academic details section. So I click on add question. I click on add question, and then qualifications or academic qualifications. I wanted it to be highest academic, but I would prefer to write academic qualifications so that you can select more than one. Academic qualifications. And I would prefer checkboxes. You can see my options have changed to checkboxes. Checkboxes helps you to select more than one. For example, you can have first school living certificate. You can also have your senior school certificate examination. You can also have your BSc or your first degree. Let me simply write first degree. And then you can have your master's. Okay, let me change this to PGD. You can have option 5. I'll scroll down. You can have your master's. And then you can have your PhD. So, for example, I have my PhD, I have master's, I have PGD, I have first degree, I have SSCE, I have FSLC. So I will simply choose all of them. So while answering this or ticking this form, I will click this, click this, click this, click this, click this, and click this. So let me assume I add postdoc. Postdoc. I don't have a postdoc, so I will simply not add this. So you see how checkbox, you see how checkbox works. So I'll click required to ensure it is a compulsory question. Okay, I mistakenly clicked on settings, so I scroll down again. I just want to confirm that my address is compulsory. And then remember, we are still in section 3 of 3, academic details. And so still under academic details, which is section 3 of 3, as you can see my mouse pointer, academic details. So we have listed academic qualifications. So we add a new question. As I scroll down, oh, as you can see, my menu was at the right hand side of academic details of this section header when I clicked add question. So the question now went in between the section header and the academic qualification. So I can use this to drag it down. Oh, making a mistake. I can use this to drag it down. You can see immediately after academic details, section header, you see academic qualifications. And then you see the next one, which is ICT skills. And I will simply want it also to be checkbox because you can have more than one ICT skill. So the first option, networking. The second option, web design. The third option, data analytics. The fourth option, data science. Fifth option, programming. And then add order. You can simply tell us if your ICT skill is not listed here, and then we click required to make it compulsory. And then we add another question. So as you can see, you can drag these two questions. I can decide to drag this. I can decide to drag this to come above this one. You can see section 3 of 3 ICT skill is now on top, while academic qualification is now below. Okay, maybe we leave it like this, and then we check required to make it compulsory. Academic qualification, let's ensure it is compulsory, required. And then finally, on academic details, we have professional bodies. Professional bodies. And in professional bodies, we still make use of checkbox because one can belong to more than one professional body at a time. Okay, before we forget, we can check required immediately. And so option 1 for professional bodies, we can add something like PSN. PSN stands for Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. We can add ICANN, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. We can add NIM, National Institute Management. We can add NIPR. We can add Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA, and then there are so many others. So you can simply click add other so that the respondent will manually type his or her professional body that he or she belongs to. And next we go for medical details. Under medical details, we have genotype, we have blood group, we have disability, if any. Disability, if any. So I'll simply minimize and then I add section. Now you can see we have section 4/4, medical details is the new section. And then we can add a description if we like. But then immediately after adding a section, we add a question. So the first question, I will make it compulsory. Just tell us your genotype. Under genotype, you can't have more than one genotype. So you choose radio buttons, the circle button, which makes it possible for you to choose only one at a time. So it is either you are AA or you are AS or your SS. You can't be more than one at the same time. And then next, we add question. We go for blood group. And then before we forget, we make it a compulsory question. Okay, I have my blood group and it's compulsory already. And you can only have one blood group at a time. So I can choose multiple choice. But I have up to 8 options. So I can decide to use drop down so there won't be too many. So let me go for drop down. Multiple choice and drop down makes you to make only one selection. You can use drop down in gender. You can use this drop down in gender. You just select a drop down menu just like this. This is a drop down menu. This menu as a whole, this, okay, this is a drop down menu. So when I click on it, it will drop down. It's a drop down menu. So I can select it. So my first option will be A positive, A negative, and then B positive and B negative, then AB positive, scroll down, AB positive, and AB negative. And then the last two, we have O positive and O negative. I think I made a mistake in this. This should be O positive. Okay. And then the final question, let's check. The final question in medical details is disability, if any. So I click on this place. I write disability. In bracket, if any. Okay. And then I click. And then I would either use a short answer or a paragraph. So I would prefer a short answer. Okay. Short answer. And then I make it compulsory. And then finally, we have the next of kin details. Next of kin details as our last section, where we have name, relationship, address, phone, and email. So I will scroll down to the last and then click add section. So this is the final section of our form, which is section 5 of 5, and then which is next of kin details. Next of kin details. And then I add a question. Remember, after adding a section, you add questions below it. So I add a question. Name of next of kin. It's a short answer and it's compulsory. Add another question. Relationship of the next of kin. Relationship of the next of kin. Okay, a short answer can do as well. And then the phone of next of kin. The phone of next of kin. A short answer can also do. I make it compulsory. Add the next question. Email of next of kin. A short answer can also do. And then I add the final question, which is address of next of kin. I will also make a compulsory question, and the short answer has already been selected. And so next is to preview our form. So this is customized theme, this is preview, undo, redo, copy, respondents link, share, and publish. So publish should be the final thing we do, and afterwards we copy the link. So let's preview the form to see how it will look to the responders. So I click on preview. So you can see this form isn't accepting responses yet because it is not yet published. Manage publish settings. So this is how the form will look. Personal information, tell us about yourself. So the person will tell us his name, Obi, gender male, age, 32, complexion, light brown. You can see that the section has finished. So that's why you say next. So you click next. Okay. This is contact information. Contact information comes up. Okay. How can we reach you? Phone number 08055556644. I don't know who owns this number. It's simply for educational purposes. Okay, let me change it. 08899955564. I think nobody owns this in Nigeria. And then email will be at gbox.com. Facebook at obi. Okay, Facebook obi. Then address 5 CLK Road. Okay, and then you go to the next. You can see academic details. Also, personal information is still coming out here, meaning that we need to change it to general information. So ICT skills. Oh, for example, I am skilled in networking. You can see checkbox helps you to choose more than one. I am skilled in web design, data analytics, data science. I am not yet skilled in programming. And then, what other skill do I have? What other skill do I have? I have teaching skills. It's not listed, so I manually type it myself. So this is how the person who fills the form, this is what he sees. And then academic qualifications, I have primary school, secondary school, first degree in university. I have postgraduate diploma in education. I have a master's and I have a PhD. I don't have a postdoc yet. And then professional bodies, I belong to the CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate and Computer Society of Nigeria. Okay, I'll click next to go to the next, and then genotype AS. Okay, blood group, let's assume O plus, and disability if any, so none, and then next. So next of kin details, Elijah, relationship, brother, phone number of next of kin 077885555. Okay, email of next of kin eli at ghike.com, and then address 34 Ring Road. And then after that, forms cannot be submitted in preview mode. So I'll have to click submit. So, but I have to clear the form, clear form, and then I can go back to the main mode and go back and change this personal information to general information. Okay, let's simply rename this form as employee form. Employee form. And then we put the same thing here, employee form. And because in our preview, we are supposed to be seeing employee form all on the pages. And then you can see that our menu is right here. So if you click on add section, We need to add section for personal information. We mistakenly added it here before, but this is not the right place to do that. We are supposed to add a new section for personal information. So I make sure I am right here. My menu is right here. So whenever I click add section, the section will be added right here. Right here. So I'll click add section. Okay, you can see the section is already added and it's section 2 is right under the personal information. So I will simply write personal information, and I click outside. And you scroll down, you see under personal information, you have name, gender, age, complexion. Now, under section 3 of 6, you have contact information where you have phone number, email, Facebook, and address. And then section 4 of 6, you have academic details where you have skills and PhD and the rest. Then medical details, you have your genotype, your blood group, and disabilities, if any. And finally, you have your next of kin details, and then you submit. So let's preview it again. We have fixed the mistake that we made. So we preview. So yes, this is the section 1. Section 1 has no question. Section 1 is simply telling you that this is an employee form. Tell us about you. So we click next. You can see employee form will still appear, but then you see personal information. Under personal information, you have name. Okay, let's fill it once more. Amara. And under name, you have gender. Amara is a female. And then you have age. Amara is 26. And Amara is fair in complexion. And then personal information section is over. That is why you say next. You click next, and so on and so forth. This is still employee form, but we have contact information as the new section. And then, so that is how it is. So our form is now correct. And this is our link. This is our link. The form is unpublished. Currently, nobody can respond. Do you want to copy the unpublished form link? No. So I'll finally publish. I'll click publish. And then, oh, I'll click publish. And then I'll publish. Anyone with the link will have access to the form. I'll publish. Now that I've published, you can see the link. So I can decide to shorten the link. I can decide to leave it long. Either way, I'll copy. As I have copied the link, I would open my WhatsApp and maybe I will send to this number, Control V, and then I click send. So once I click send, he or she receives employee form. So I wouldn't send it because I wouldn't want him to receive it. I will simply come here and delete it. And then I minimize my WhatsApp. And so after the responses have come to this place, responses, no responses yet. So you send it out to people, to WhatsApp groups, to Facebook, to social media. People see your links and they fill the form. And then you come to this place and you see download responses. This is where you download responses. All right. So, and this is how we come to the end of today's class. We have just learned how to create a form assigning different sections: personal information section, contact information section, academic details section, medical details section, next of kin, and finally next of kin details section. So I would implore you to click on the subscribe button and like and share. And remember, I am Reverend Dr. Namchez. Thank you and goodbye. See you in the next video.